Sahara Smith, Kink Live at the Bing Lounge. Thank you for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, love the new album.
Thank you.
It's the first album.
It is the first album.
It is the first album. And you grew up in Austin, which is kind of a hotbed of music like Portland is.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what it was like growing up in that scene, or near that scene, actually.
Well, yeah, I grew up kind of in the hill country outside of Austin, and there was a really a big music community there, too. I kind of grew up, all the, my friends' parents were like musicians as well, and so every Friday night there was this bluegrass jam at a local restaurant, and we'd all sit around a campfire and play music till midnight or 1 in the morning. And so I grew up doing that, and just kind of being surrounded by artists and musicians and writers.
And you started singing in clubs when you were how old?
I started doing restaurant gigs and things like that when I was about 13, 14.
Nice. What kind of venues do you play at age 13 or 14?
Well, not great ones.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was this place called Hitas and Ritas in Wimberley. They served fajitas and margaritas, in case you didn't get the leap there.
Nice.
Nice. And they closed down very shortly after. I like to think I didn't have anything to do with that.
Hopefully not, but yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Small venues like that. Now you're out on the road opening up for Mark Cohn on this leg of his tour. Wanted to ask you about the album and T-Bone Burnett as well. He's like the guy with the Midas touch these days.
Absolutely,
I mean, it's just incredible things that he's doing. Elvis Costello has a new album out, and there's one coming out with Greg Allman after the first of the year. How did you meet up with him, or how did he find you?
Well, I was sitting around with my manager, and we were talking about, in an ideal world, who would be my producer, and we just all kind of said, well, T-Bone Burnett, but that's, never going to happen.
Never happened.
So on a whim, he sent him my music, and he asked us to fly out to L.A.
Nice, just like that.
Yeah.
What is he, I mean, it's probably hard to explain, but what is it that he brings? I mean, when he was working with you, what are some of the suggestions that he had that just you weren't even thinking of?
Well, the album itself was produced by Emil Kellman, which is one of his close engineers. So the times that he was in the office kind of working with us, he would always say, like, well, Jake and I went up before we even started recording the album and just did demos in his studio, and he was there a lot of the time. And he would just kind of give us suggestions, like, just take it down about half of what you're doing, and it'll translate into the the microphone, and then you can bring it back up for your live show. But in the studio, you just say it, just tell the story with it, and I think that the album does kind of tell a story, and I kind of tried to keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's got a lot of nice. It's important to have room for breath in an album, and that's probably the suggestion that he made. Well, I'd love to hear some more. I'm excited about this new album. The album is called Myth of the Heart. Kink Live at the Bing Lounge. This is Sahara Smith.